Generally speaking, it's very clean and composed of mostly protein. And I have to say again how I love red beans here. Anyone out there who hasn't tried this flavor, try it. It's really good. Hi, I'm Maxxie. Welcome to my channel. Do you all like having a nice popsicle at night after a long day? I like it, but unfortunately, most common popsicles are full of sugars and almost nothing good. And I want to keep my physique, so that's why I use protein powders to make my own at home. In this episode, I'm gonna introduce 3 recipes I've developed. One is a nicey version, which is light and refreshing. One is a creamy version, which some people may prefer to call an ice cream bar. And the third one is a fruity version, which tastes like real juice but is definitely not as high in sugar. Regardless of the difference, all 3 recipes are high in protein and low in both fat and carbs, and they are very easy to make. Now, let's get started. First, the icy and refreshing version. The main ingredient is 45 grams of whey protein powder. Choose any flavor that you like, they are all gonna work. The flavor I'm using now is red bean, a classic dessert flavor in China, which both I and my parents love ever since childhood. In Japan, it's called azuki or anko. Maybe some of you are more familiar with those, but whatever name it's called, it's delicious. Okay, after the protein powder, all we need is just water. For every 45 grams of protein powder, add 300 milliliters of water. And that's all the ingredients of the recipe. Now, put in the shake bowl and shake. Do use a shake bowl. This is gonna help introduce more air into the mixture and make the texture of the ice more crispy. After it's well mixed, pour it into the mold. Keep in mind not to fill the holes completely, because otherwise it's gonna spill when you put the sticks in them. As you can see here, I'm leaving a tiny distance. Good, nice and neat. Now, cover it and freeze for at least 16 hours. 16 hours later, our popsicles are finished. The mold I'm using has this big container at the bottom. Its function is to help you demolding the popsicles. Put water in it, fill half the space, and put the pops back. And shake. The running water in it is gonna make the surface of the pops melt quickly, and then it's very easy to get them out. See? This recipe is meant to be refreshing, so it's sweet but not too sweet. And it's very crispy. You can bite it without any effort. Now, let's talk about the nutrition facts. Every stick of these icy pops contains only 30 kcal. About 6.2 grams of protein accounts for around 81% of the total calories, and only 0.4 grams of fat, about 11%, and 0.6 grams of carbs, about 8%. Generally speaking, it's very clean and composed of mostly protein. I know it sounds plain, but believe me, it's delicious. And I have to say again how I love red beans here. Anyone out there who hasn't tried this flavor, try it. It's really good. Okay, the second kind, the ice cream bars. For this one, I'm using a brown rice tea latte flavor whey protein powder, and I know the name is long, but it's good. Actually, any tea latte flavor is fantastic for this recipe. I've tried matcha latte and brown sugar milk tea, and they are both amazing. Now, here is 90 grams of protein powder, twice the amount of the first kind. And then, for every 90 grams of protein powder, we add in 270 milliliters of whole milk. And that's it, now we shake. In this recipe, the mixture is thicker than the first kind. It will incorporate even more air bubbles inside, and that's gonna result in a silky texture when it's finished. Okay, now it's well mixed. Now we pour it into the mold. Again, don't fill the holes completely. And again, freeze for at least 16 hours. 16 hours later, now let's open this one. This one is very creamy. It holds the shape quite well but melts instantly in your mouth. Same as the one before, you can bite it easily. It's half soft and has this silky and rich texture in your mouth. Now, nutrition facts. Every one of these ice cream bars contains only 86 kcal, about 13.6 grams of protein, accounts for around 63% of the total calories, only 2.1 grams of fat, about 22%, and 3.3 grams of carbs, about 15%. It's still quite clean and high in protein, although not as high as the first one, but you get a more dessert-like treat instead. Now the third version, fruity popsicles. The main ingredient is, of course, a fruit flavor whey protein powder. Well, for this kind of protein powder there is a problem, and that is most fruit flavor protein powder tastes a little bit fake. You can tell it's not the real flavor of the juice, and I think most of the time it's because it's not sour enough. So to solve this problem, what we need is a little bit of lemon juice, or you can use lime juice too. Use freshly squeezed lemon juice or this kind of culinary juice. Don't use the beverage kind, that won't work. Okay, now the recipe. For this one, I'm adding 45 grams of mango flavor whey protein powder and then 300 milliliters of water, both the same as the first version, and then shake. After this, we add 30 milliliters of lemon juice and then shake again. The total amount of liquid in this recipe is more than what we used in the first version, but it's okay, because the added acid makes the mixture hold less air. We need that extra 30 milliliters to fill the mold. This amount of lemon juice is not gonna make the popsicle taste like lemon. In fact, it amplifies the sourness and fruitiness of all fruit flavors. But do keep in mind, only add lemon juice after you shake the water with the protein powder. If you add it before that, you would suddenly put the proteins in a too acidic environment and denature it there. Okay, after that, we pour the mixture as before and freeze it as before for 16 hours. Now, same as the first version, these mango popsicles are refreshing and crispy, and besides this, they taste like a real juice. Each piece of this contains only 32 kcal, about 6.2 grams of protein, accounts for around 78% of the total calories, and only 0.4 grams of fat, about 11%, and 0.9 grams of carbs, about 11% too. The juice raised its carbs a little bit, but it's still mainly protein. And that is all 3 recipes of this episode. All the statistics of the recipes are listed in the video description down below. If you like this video, please tap the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see me cooking something else, feel free to comment. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I'm sharing my fitness progress and other things in my daily life. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. And happy cooking. Take care.